Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Midday Market Update. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Stock Market Strategist for VectorVest. Glad to be here. Glad to have you here. Hopefully, everybody had a good weekend. This market, man, is crazy. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. If you can hear me loud and clear, by all means, respond in an affirmative, preferably with VV Nation, to let me know that I am coming across loud and clear. Welcome to the Trump hate crash. Oh, boy. Trade war Armageddon. Nobody wins. Nobody. Sigh. Again, listen, I'm not getting into the politics of it. By the way, I just came back from New York, saw my parents. It was great to see my parents, but then I got sick. Sigh. I got sick. So I'm a little down under the weather today. I am, but it's not going to stop me from doing what I got to do. All right? Not going to stop me from doing what I got to do. What's up, Mr. Glenn? How was your trip? Yeah, crazy market. Again, it was a great trip. My dad looks a whole lot different than the last time I saw him, just to say the least. All right, so it is what it is. Thank you, Bill. I'm going to feel better. I'm just a little under the weather. A lot of traveling. Oh, my gosh. The trip that my daughter set up for me was just, it was tough. And then she rerouted me again yesterday. She flew me. I didn't know Islip had an airport. Islip, Long Island. She flew me out of there. We were in Peekskill. She drove me to Long Island to go back to LaGuardia. Her flight was still in LaGuardia. My child was a road dog yesterday. Holy smokes, she was. All right, but I'm working on that. All that around all those people probably just jacked me all up a little bit, so that's why I'm feeling a little under the weather. It is what it is. Another bad day. I'm not buying or selling, just holding what I have and observing to see what shakes out. Bill said he was born in Peekskill. Yeah, my parents live in Peekskill. Now, the interesting thing about the market right now, we did have 3 red lights a few minutes ago. Now the market wants to do a rebound. Anybody feels comfortable with the little rebound that we had today? Type a 1 if you feel comfortable with it. Type a 2 if you think that this was a head fake. Type a 1 if you felt comfortable or feel comfortable with the little rebound we got today. Type a 2 if you think it's a head fake. I, on the other hand, I think that this is a head fake. I think with everything that's going on in the market, the tariffs, the whole 9 yards, this is all tariff induced. All right, and a lot of people thinking that we're overreacting. A lot of more people are starting to talk about getting into or closer to a recession. We're going to talk about all that news in a second. Oscar says, good to see you. You have been blessed with your dad being in your life for so long. Yeah, my dad's like 82. So that is a blessing. That is definitely a blessing. One day does not make a trend. Smack this. Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Can I do that? Yeah. Is that one day smack this? Is that what you talk about the rebound? Oh, is that no. 1 gap down, 2 gap down, 3 gap downs. Not only is the market going down, it's going down bigly. The gaps down that are not getting filled. All right. The gaps down that are not getting filled. That is also the rebound. And when I look at the rebound, we got an open candle. I'll show you it in an intraday graph. Little open candle, which means the open was down here. The price is right there. When I look at today's candle, I see a lot more selling pressure than I see buying pressure. Little spinning top action going on, but a lot more selling pressure than we have buying pressure. Let's go move this to intraday, 1-minute bars, current day. Look at that volatility today. Big gap down, fall. Look at that rebound, big rebound. And someone said there was news out there. I never found the story that Trump was going to do a 90-day pause on tariffs, and the market took off. So, that means that even the people, the big money or the investors in the background are looking. This tells me that people in the background are looking for good news from the tariffs because they were willing to push the market higher. Then this story came out that it was fake. And then they said, oh, and I'm going to get out. And they said, well, maybe we'll try again. Oh, I'm going to get out. But maybe we're going to try again. Oh, we're going to get out. There's a lot more downside. And Pennywise, I'm with you. We're getting closer to some stagflation um, where we're going to go up as far as inflation, and the market is chilling. All right, so we might get to some stagflation at some point in time. But if I'm looking from the high today, we're definitely really pulling back hard. We're in a downtrend. All right, we're in a downtrend, and this is intraday 1-minute bars. But a lot of volatility going on today, back and forth and back and forth. But it looks like the bears, for the most part, here's the level of the gap down. We started to fade the gap. Look at that. We did start to fade the gap. Let's bring in Friday's data. We did start to fade the gap, but then the bears still have control. My info is from him saying things, not in person. Trump seems to be pretty hell-bent on the tariffs at the moment. You know, he's all in. That's all I can say. He's got the tariffs in place and he's all in. And that's where we stand. The market, that's why I call this tariff turmoil. This is all being driven, let's put this on a 3-month graph. This is all being driven by the tariffs. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is. All right, it's news, it's political, that's bleeding over into the stock market. All right, I think that let's do this real quick. Viewers, I'm going to make something in here called Glenn Blank. Glenn Blank. All right. And that way I can put whatever I want into this watch list whenever I want to. Let's go to the SPX or SPY. Let's go to the IWM. Let's go to the QQQ. Let's go to the Dow. Main indices, right? I want to see where we stand. Look at that. That's all the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Russell. I'm going to go back to the beginning of the year. I want to see, are we in bear territory? The answer, I think, to that is yes. Go back to the first trading day in January. Quick test all of them. Where do we stand? Yeah. I think we're in bear territory. Well, there it is. 19 on the IWM. What is bear territory? 20% down, right? I think it's 20%. The Qs are almost there. The IWM is almost there. And then we've got the spiders at about 15 and the Dow about 10. All right, so big hits to all of the major indices since the first trading day of the year, down over almost 16%, where the VVC is down only 12.87. All right, the NASDAQ is in bear territory at 22. It's close to it, according to my calculations here. We're close to it. We'll see. But nonetheless, all of the major indices have been hit adversely in a big way. That's it in a nutshell. It is. The Dow is down. You said the Dow is down. Well, it's only down 0.3% right now. Bill says from the high, that is. All right, I got you. So I didn't go from the high. I went from the beginning of the year. Technically, I really should have tested all of these from their highs. That was the right way to go, Bill. What was the date for the high on the NASDAQ? 219. Let's go from 219. These are going to be different, though, now, right? Let's go to 219. I really don't want to test all of them, but I will, just for the sake of time. From 219 until right now, they're going to be less. Ooh, no, maybe not. 219. There it is. 22% on the Qs, 21% on the IWM, and these are getting closer to 20 as well. So 22%. This is big. Who blinks first, Trump or the Fed? It's a good question, Fox. That is the question at hand, because Trump wants the Fed to cut interest rates. It's tough for the Fed to cut interest rates with the data that they have. All right? It's tough to cut interest rates with the data. You got inflation on the rise. You can do whatever you want to do, but I don't think it's advisable to cut interest rates if inflation is rising. All right, so I'm just putting that out there. But yeah, from the highs on the Qs, 22%. And I can go to the highs on the S&P real quick. View the stock graph. What's the highs on the S&P? 219, same day, right? Same day, 219. The Dow, view the stock graph. This one was a little earlier, I think. This was from, what's the date? January 31st. So that's primarily for the Dow. January 31st. Let's see where the Dow is off of its high. Dow, 16% off of its high. Look at the high WM. Look at, man, nonetheless, no matter how you look at this, the market is getting killed, and most recently due to the tariffs. See, look at that. All of these are down 1% or more. All right. So with that, let's start talking about some of the stories. Alt tab. What are the stories that are moving the markets? 5 things to know before the stock market opens on Monday. This was a story I got earlier in the day. Number 1 was taking a toll. The S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, all down a lot. So the tariffs are taking a toll on the market. New tariff in town. There's new tariffs that have come out, I think, on the 9th in 2 days. The next wave, which has caused much more consternation on Wall Street, will start Wednesday. The duties will hit imports from dozens of countries and blocs, including China, Vietnam, the European Union. The rates range from 11 to 50% and will affect a range of goods coming into the U.S. from apparel and toys and appliances, electronics, and food. Taxing poetic. After the U.S. market plummeted to close the week, Trump and his economic advisors argued temporary pain was worth the resurgence in U.S. manufacturing. The day of promise. Something, the short-term pain hurts. I ain't gonna lie. The short-term pain hurts. And now we're on a course where I don't think there's no backing out, that we're gonna have to wait to see if we get the long-term gain. I think we're fully in it. The short-term pain is hurting though. Duty calls, major voices, this is different. Major voices in business were slow to criticize Trump's escalation of global trade wars. That may be starting to change. In his closely watched annual shareholder letter, J.P. Morgan, Jamie Dimon, said the new duties could fuel inflation and damage an already slowing economy. Whatever you think of the legitimate reasons for the newly announced tariffs, and of course there are some, or the long-term effect, good or bad, there are likely to be important short-term effects. We are likely to see inflationary outcomes not only on the imported goods, but on domestic prices as input costs rise and demand increases on domestic products. Woo! When the levee breaks, fear of a global trade conflict will cause a reflection are hitting markets beyond stocks. A lot of people talking about we're going to get closer and closer to a recession. Tom says Bill Ackman made a suggestion for a 90-day pause, and I think that may have set off the fake news. Somebody said it. Somebody said it, and the market took off, and then a report came out said it was fake news, and that was that. Meanwhile, the price of Bitcoin was trading below 77,000 on Monday. It has fallen 30% from its January all-time high. Even with all of the emphasis being put on Bitcoin, it ain't doing so good. All right, next story. Why Goldman Sachs now sees a 45% chance of a recession and the Fed coming to the rescue. So, AFOX asked the question, who will blink first? If the market gets super really tough and dicey, I think the Fed is going to feel compelled to drop interest rates. Now, that's going to help us in one way or another. It's going to help us to refinance the debt. But is it the right thing to do to lower interest rates into an economy that may be showing rise of inflation? And again, the Fed can do whatever he wants to do because he's the Fed. I'm just saying. All right, next story. Jamie Dimon says Trump tariffs will boost inflation, slow an already weakening economy. We already saw that story. That then turns into stagflation. All right. Bill Ackman said he lost $7 million. That's a lot of money. Nah, that's not a lot. I got that in my bank. I'm good. 7 million ain't that much. When you get to about 10 million, then call me. 7 million ain't that much. My aluminum foil hat says that 1% is pumping to dampen the blow. 1% is coming. 1% is coming, maybe. To, I think that, again, a Fox's question, who blinks first? I think that really, if everybody starts yelling, screaming, and hollering, the Fed may cut interest rates. He may. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. White House says the fake news that the Trump is considering a 90-day pause. He came on and talked. I saw this interview. I still had never found a story that said that Trump was going to do a 90-day pause. But evidently it came out, and they said it was fake news. All right, next story. This is big. And this is not possibly, I think that this was supposed to be the outcome of the tariffs. Over 50 nations in tariff talks, says National Economic Council Director. 50 nations behind the scenes. And with that news, and if some deals start getting made, the market will respond. Just like they thought that there was a 90-day pause today and the market took off, if news comes out about countries lowering their tariffs, taking off their tariffs, the market will explode. All right? The market will explode. But over 50 nations in tariff talks. That's huge. National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett reported on Monday that more than 50 countries are currently negotiating on tariffs. Hassett made his remarks on Fox News, where he also suggested that it's time to back off from the heated rhetoric. We'll see. And someone who negotiates government contracts, this is not believable. That countries are in the background talking to him? Is that what you're saying? You're saying that this is not true? That the 50 nations are not in tariff talks to try to get off the list? And again, I'm not an economist. I'm not a person that negotiates government contracts. I'm not into that. I'm just curious. The only 50 at the same time, well, there's a lot. We put tariffs on a lot of countries. We did, right? So you're trying to say that maybe they are okay with the tariffs or they're trying to get off the tariff list. Listen, if I was in a country that was being tariffed, I would want to negotiate. All right? It's not true that 50 countries are negotiating, in my humble opinion. All right? Each has different issues, says Tim. I got you on that too. So I'm reporting the news as I see it. Could this be fake? It could be. But I think that this could be a breath of fresh air into the whole tariff story. They in talks, but not getting off the list. It's about getting off the dollar. I think BRICS is done. If you're thinking, from an alternative currency, I think BRICS is done. I think that the countries that are in the BRICS are unstable, number one. And number two, I think crypto is going to be the biggest hurt for BRICS. All right? So have only heard of Japan because of the switch to. All right? Vietnam said to go to zero tariffs, and that is not good enough. Okay, got you, Tim. Again, just a story. And you know me, I love your input. I do. And some of you have knowledge of some of this stuff that's going on. So I have to take that at face value. Believe you me, I'm not doubting you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. All right. UBS downgrades U.S. airlines on recession fears, sees lower earnings. I'm interested in this because I didn't understand why the airlines were moving up as much as they were before. I thought that because of inflation that people wouldn't be flying, but evidently people are flying. But now airlines are getting downgraded on recession fears. BlackRock bought $66 million of BTC last week in a dip. Ryan, I know. I think that BRICS is going to go away. I think BRICS is going to fall down. Crypto, I'm not a big fan of crypto either. I think crypto's getting ready to go into another crypto winter. I just think so. I'm looking at the tariffs, how the tariffs are adversely affecting them as well. It's not Glenn's fault. The market is free fall. Hit the like button. Thank you, A Fox. I appreciate that. Interesting about the airlines. I wasn't really all behind the airlines going up in price uh, the way that they were. I think the only thing that was really pushing them up was the boomers traveling because they could afford to. All right. Everybody else who was traveling was putting money on their credit cards. And from that point, that's why there's going to be a lot of people ain't going to be paying their credit cards. Boyd still making the news. Boyd launches Denza premium brand in Europe to support expansion. I don't know if it's going to be like the Lucid at any at any point in time, but it's a more expensive car. I don't even know what it looks like. I don't even know. I don't know if they got a picture of what it looks like. Oh, there it is. Wow, that's pretty. That's a pretty. A second Boyd site in Turkey is expected to come online in March 2026. When fully operational, they will have a total production capacity of 500,000, 500,000 cars per year. Man, so it looks like Boyd, the Chinese manufacturer of EVs, is going to try to flood the rest of the world with EVs because they're not going to get them over here. But that's a pretty looking car. That is a nice looking car to be a Boyd car because the cheap car, the $11,000 car, is I could put one foot in it. That's about it. It's so tiny. But they have a more expansive line, and that's what's needed. But those other cars that are more expensive, more in the expanse of what they're doing, is right on par with a lot of the other EVs that are already in existence. So one of the big reasons why people were saying, "Oh, Boyd," is because they were cheap. I think all of their other models are right on par with all of the other EV companies out there. I don't think Tesla is done. I still don't think Tesla's done. Tesla's got their hands in too much stuff. They're not just a car company. So I don't think Tesla is done. Next story, Volkswagen, another cars. Volkswagen's Audi holding cars in the U.S. ports due to auto. Man, I'd run up there and go, I want that Audi. Do you know who I am? I'm Glenn E. Tompkins Jr. I'm on YouTube. I need that car. They would say, oh, yes, Mr. Tompkins, you can buy your car right here, right now. Does anybody believe that? Type of 1 if you believe that I could do that. Type of 2 if you think I'm just blowing smoke out of my side of my neck. Does anybody think that I'm big enough that I can just go get my Audi out of the port on my own? Just go get it. All right. Ross, I thought you were my friend. Ross says no. A lot of people saying no. I thought Ross would have had my back. Dang. Ross, that cuts me deep, bro. That cuts me deep. All right. Most people, of course, they ain't gonna give me no car. Aloha, Glenn, and all your VV peeps. What's up, Mike? Malcolm says, "What you smoking?" Yeah, I know. I listen. Sometimes you gotta think high. You gotta think high, and that's what I was. I got your back. Don't worry, says Michael. I got you. Hell to the yes, says Janice. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And Jen says, "You want us to be honest?" Right now, Jen, no, I don't want you to be honest. This is one of those times I don't want you to be honest. Don't be honest right now. Everybody should just type a 1. I'm just putting that out there. Don't be honest right now. All right, next story. So that's gonna, I think that, when you look at the tariff stuff, it's gonna affect the supply chain. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that either. Look at that. Volkswagen is already doing that. I think high and getting high. I'm not getting high. I don't do that. Thank you for not believing in, and thank you for lying to me now. I want you, Glenn, to be 100% honest here. Stop trying to guilt me into feeling honest. All right, next story. After 2 big days of sell-offs, this is an interesting story. After 2 big days of sell-offs, here's what history suggests will happen next. This was a very interesting story. So there's a graph here. 1987, we all know what happened there. Worst 2-day price moves, 24%. That was on 10/19. 2 days later, big bounce. Back in 2008, there's several dates in 2008. All right, 10/7 to 10/14, bounce. Took 5 days. Now, as we get later and later into these moves to the downside, it's taking us longer and longer for the bounce to happen. So 4/4, let's keep it on just 10 days. 10 days would be 424 calendar days. All right, that's when we could start to look for a rebound or a bounce. We ain't there yet. We ain't there yet. But that's just maybe. This is just historical. All right, this is just historical. I'm with you, Penny. I think we still have more ways to go to the downside. I think we do, and I'm going to show you why in a second. Last story. Watch these Bitcoin levels today. Drops below 80. There you go, Ryan. I know Ryan's in here. Ryan likes Bitcoin. I don't like it at all. I think I'm going back to calling it crap, though. Bitcoin dropped below the closely watched 80,000 level. It's sitting at 77, I believe. Let's go check that real quick. Research, go down my list. Where's crypto today? Bitcoin is at 78. Last 7 days, down over 6%. Ethereum, last 7 days, down over 16%. Yeah, I'm just looking at the graphs on. Let's go Bitcoin. I should be able to pull up a graph. Yeah, look at that. Now, that's 3 a.m. Let's go end of day. How the heck? 1 month. Let's go 1 year. Nice jump up in January as the new administration comes in. There was going to be a lot of focus on it. Look at that. And still falling. Look at that and still falling. This is a 1 year graph. I'm not feeling crypto. Just not feeling it. And I know Ryan likes Ethereum as well. Ethereum is getting beat up as well. I got out of IBIT. Those are two of my stocks for this space I'm going to look at. Is going to be BTC and IBIT. You put all that money into gold. I'm going to evidently trade your charts, not guess. Trade your charts, not the guessing of a loser day trader. What are you talking about? Yep, not going as promised. Efio Safu. Hopefully I said that right. Back up the truck, Ryan. Go ahead. Ryan's gonna back up. He's watching. Go ahead. He's watching. Go ahead. He's gonna do just that. I'm not touching it right now. I think we're not far from going back down into the negative, into the red. All right. Some expected 500,000 for Bitcoin in 2025. I don't think it's going. I think that it's not going. Now, guess what, folks? There's a lot to the year left. Glenn, how are your 11 stocks from the year beginning? Let's go take a look. Let's go. Oh, how many watched the video on Friday about the Teflon 8? Type of 1 in the room. How many of you watched Friday's video at the Teflon 8? Type of 1 in the room. Because I want to see what they're looking like. And then, Janice, we will look at my 11 stocks for the year. That's right. 11 stocks for the year. All right, so I did the video. Puffin said you just subscribed yesterday. Absolutely awesome. Hey, type a W in the room for Puffin. Puffin. Type a W in the room. I love it when you guys subscribe and let me know. Type a W in the room for those for Puffin subscribing to the channel. Gotta love it. Thank you very much. Welcome to VV Nation. Welcome to the family, fam. All right. So I got the portfolio. For Friday's video. You ready? Woo! 6.27% to the downside. Wow. That's a big hit. These are the stocks that I felt were going to be the least affected by the tariffs. You know what's happening here? The tariffs affecting the market. You know the market's direction. 80% of the stocks in the market move with the market's direction. That's what's happening here. Unfortunately, these were my Teflon 8. Let me make sure they're 8. Janice has probably already counted them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8. These are my Teflon 8, and they're getting killed. Let's graph all of them. Well, before I go graph all of those, Janice's question was my top stock picks for the year, 2025. Let's go look at it. Top stocks. Is this it? Woo, this is them. What's going up? Only stock in the list that's going up is Palantir. There's my IONQ. I did put in a quantum play. This was a play especially for cooling of computers, Vistra Energy, Nvidia, Google, Amazon, IBIT. I did put in a play for crypto Axon, a great stock. Meta, Netflix. The only stock that's moving up in the list is Palantir. That's it. That's it. Man, all of these companies are getting beat up, but especially the quantum play. I did have to have a quantum play in there, but 22% down. Man, this market's getting killed. This market's getting killed. Tried to get into RH this morning, hoping for another buying opportunity. We're gonna take a look at that stocks. Glenn's 11 are not going to heaven. Glenn, you are in the way of the game. I'm in the way of what? Sigh. Let me move that over. There you go. There's the ROIs. There's the ROIs. Sigh. It's tough. Are you still holding NVIDIA? No, I'm not in NVIDIA. The only two stocks I own right now, given the market's conditions, all I own is Palantir and SQQQ. Those are my only two plays that I have. And the year is young, Janice. You're right. The year is young. We'll see. We'll see. But I think given the economic atmosphere that we're in, the stock market's getting killed, even good stocks are getting beat up. All right? Fairness to your picks. How were those picks at today's high? 10:15. Let's go check these out real quick. I don't know. View the stock graphs. Let's go put these on intraday, 5-minute bars, current day. Palantir, a little choppy. There's the high. Pulled back off the high. Look at them. Netflix, they all doing the same thing. They're all off of their highs today. After that big drop off in the market. iBit, nice little bounce. That's for Ryan out there. Nice little bounce intraday on that level of support. We'll see. I'm not feeling crap, though. I'm going back to crap, though. Amazon, a lot of these stocks rebounding. Look at that, Google. But all of them are off of their intraday highs. That was a great question, Sal. That was a great question. All of them are off of their intraday highs. But look at that. The market is trying to pull back because I can see these stocks. Look at them. All of them are trying to bounce. Let's go back to the graphs. Let's go look at intraday, 5-minute bars, current days. The market rebounding. Market found another level of support intraday. There's the downtrend that I showed earlier today. Nice little rebound. Again, with all of the volatility that's going on, I'm not holding anything at face value today. I think that overall, going back to a 3-month graph, we got more downside. Go to a 6-month graph. Let's go to a 1-year graph. Wow. Let's go to a 5-year graph. Where's my next level of support? Down here. There we go. If I'm looking at the VectorVest composite, my next, look at that though, at 52.97. That's a big drop. We got more. And look at that. We fell right to this level of support, rebounded off of it. That's at $60.33. So we'll see. Let's go see if we can break. If we break down through this 60.33, we got more downside to this 50. That would be harsh to get all the way down to 52. And I was looking at the VIX. There's fear, super fear in the market. We're at 48. When the VIX gets to a level of 20, that's when there's fear in the market. Right now, we got more so, not more. We don't have fear in the market. We got blood in the streets. Anybody agree with blood in the streets, or am I overreacting? Type of 1 if you agree with blood in the streets. Type of 2 if you think I'm overreacting. And be honest. This one I want you to be honest. Type of 1 if you think it's blood in the streets. Type of 2 if you think that I'm overreacting. There's the volatility on the market. All the way up to 48. That's crazy high. Let's go put this on a 10-year graph. Have we ever been higher than that? Yeah, we've been higher than that. Back, when was this? Dateline. This was back on 2020. That was COVID, right? That was COVID. We were as high as 66. And then we got a spike here on this day, 2024. We spiked up. We didn't finish up. We spiked up to 2037. That can't be right. Because what was the high? The high was 65. I don't know what happened on August 5th of 2024. We spiked all the way up to 65 before we pulled back. Now we're at 48. All right, now we're at 48. Blood is not pooling yet, though. We got blood in the streets, but it's still flowing. The tariff war is getting worse. No one wants to lose face. I think the blood is still squirting out all over the place. I'm thinking there's definitely blood in the streets. All right. There's definitely blood in the streets. Let's go back to my viewers. Let's go back to the stocks that made the news. Great questions, by the way, in regards to what's going on. There's the Qs, only one that's up. The SQQQ is the only one that's up. Again, the only two stocks that I own right now, I got a lot of it too. I got a lot of SQQQ. All right. It's made me a lot of money right now. I'm keeping my eyes on it though. All right. Boyd, with their cars going out to other countries, there's Bitcoin and IBIT. Both of those are down big with the jets getting downgraded. That's look at all the airlines and Volkswagen keeping their cars in the ports. The only thing moving for me right now is the SQQQ. Now, when we go to look at your stocks, we're going to do that in a second. We're going to start looking at your stocks early today because I'm not giving you any fish today. The only fish that I'm willing to give to you, I'm not even willing to give you gold right now. I'm only thinking about country ETFs, but to be fair, when talking about country ETFs, with as much as the market has gone down, I'm still going to consider, I would want you to consider only non-leveraged contras. Only non-leveraged contras. Only non-leveraged contras. All right, because all it takes is, and right now, based on the MTI and the buy to sell ratio, we're nicely below the levels where the market is starting to look for a bottom. All right, we're definitely oversold. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. We are definitely oversold. The buy to sell ratio at the level that it is right now hasn't been at this level for a lot of years. All right. So the reason why I say if you're going to dive into anything, non-leveraged contras, because the rubber band effect of these indicators rolling down and down and down, the rebound is going to be huge. I think that no matter what you feel about the tariffs, the market situation is setting up for a golden age. You hear the words I'm using? A golden age of bottom fishing. All right? I'm with you, Jazz. Let the rubber band stretch. Absolutely. Let's go back to the graphs. Where's the MTI? Let's go put this back on a 3-month graph. Wrong graph. I need this on, market timing. There we go. MTI at 0.40. The buy to sell ratio at 0.04. The market is definitely at a level of being grossly oversold. At some point in time, it's got to rebound. And I think that when it rebounds, it's going to rebound in a big way. Mark this down that I'm saying that. Now, the thing is, I cannot predict when that's going to happen. I can't because I don't have those kinds of skills. I don't have that. I think if I had those kinds of skills, I can go get my Audi from the port, right? I don't have those kind of skills, but I'm telling you to be ready. I'm not telling you to get ready now. Let the market come to you. Trade the chart. Trade the chart, not your heart. If I'm trading the chart tells me I'm not looking to think about bottom fishing yet. I'm not looking to buy anything yet. When I'm looking at today's candle, yes, I have an open candle. That means the price is higher than the open, but look at the wicks. I got more selling pressure than I have buying pressure. All right? Where's the current VVC? I'm showing it to you right now, Joe. There it is. It's currently at currently at $61. This is today's activity, Joe. This is today's activity on an end-of-day basis. Big wick at the top of the candle. Again, news came out. People drove the market higher. And I think that, yes, the market's going down, but people are willing to hear some news to drive the market price higher. All right. So when you talk about who is that? Remore, 1, 2, 3 gaps in 4 days. 1, 2, 3, 4 days. 1, 2, 3 big gaps not filled. That's huge. 3 big gaps not filled. The market's going down. I think the market's still going to have some more downside, all the way down to this level of what did I say? That's a level. I need more than that time. I gave you another level, like 52. There it is, all the way down here. Nice bounce off of today's support, but I need the market to show me more than that to think that the market might have found another bottom. Does everybody understand what I just took you through in the market timing graph? Type a yes or a no. In other words, to know where we stand and what to look for? Does everybody understand what I just took you through in the market timing graph of where we are and where we could go? All right. If the market's going to show me some legs to the upside, let the market come to you. Let the market come to you. Don't try to outguess the market. And a lot of people today, let me zoom in. A lot of people today are like, oh, yeah, let's get it going. Steve Rowland. Whoop, there it is. Nope, it's not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Let the market come to you. Let the market come to you. Read the charts. Trade the charts. The charts are not giving me any indication that it's okay to start buying stocks long. Nothing. Which is why I'm still on the side of contra ETFs, but with the market being as oversold as it is, I'm looking at non-leveraged contra ETFs. Glenn, at the open, the SPX was at minus 20, went a bit lower, and now it's 70 points above it. The market, again, Sherilyn, that's the volatility of the day. That is the volatility of the day. So when you tell me that, but I look at an end of day graph, even if it's 70 points above, it's not enough. It's not enough on an end of day basis. And one day doesn't make a trend. Like you said, follow the chart, not your heart. What would Dr. DeLito do? Dr. DeLito would say, let the market come to you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The market's got more downside. He would look at the whole graph the way that I did, to see where we are, to understand what's going on in the news. And the market being oversold the way that it is, I'd be on the lookout for a rebound because it's set up for it. But what's going to be the catalyst for the rebound? Tariff news to the upside. That's what you're looking for. Tariff news, positive news. If some of these countries start making deals, if they do, maybe there's not 50 of them all at one time, but I'm sure that there's some countries out there trying to get off this tariff list. And if it comes to fruition that this country's, we're going to take off the tariffs on this country, that country, and the other country, I think that could be enough to push us higher and in a big way. All right? So that's what I got to say. That's all I got to say about that. Lieutenant Dan, you got new legs. Mama said if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. All right? Run, Forrest, run! Right now I'm running more to the downside than I am to the upside. All right. Have we broken the 5-year trend line of the VVC? I'm going to put this on 5 years. No, that's way down here. That was the 52 number. That's a 52 number, 52.97. This one's a 56. No, we haven't broken the 5-year low. The 5-year trend line. When you say 5-year trend line, support or trend line? I don't have a real trend. I got back and forth. I don't have any real trend line except for here and here. All right. But there's a level that's a 5-year good level of support. All right. If one story on tariff has an effect on the market, things are still unstable. And you're right. They thought there was going to be a 90-day pause. And what did the market do? The market took off like nobody's business, all off of one story. And you're right. The market is still unstable. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that either. All right. Trends for the bottom. There's the 5-year low. And that was back in COVID time, right? That's 2020. That makes sense. All right, I got no fish for you today. I'm not giving you any fish. Let's go see what the contras are doing. Contras should be killing it. Look at that. I'm going to do something. Let's go back. Let's take this back to the beginning of the year. January 2nd. What's the contras done? Quick test all. Look at that, folks. Woo! Now, keep in mind, this is probably non-leverage, double leverage, and triple leverage. Look at this, 54% on contras. UVXY, almost 100%. LABD, 90%. HIBS, 87%. Let's graph all of these. This is why I'm on the side of contras right now. But right now, with the market being as oversold as it is, I would still think about non-leverage. Look at that. UVXY. A lot of these are going to have closed candles today because of that big jump up. Oh, Hibbs went to red. All of them have closed candles because they all came back down. But look at these graphs nonetheless. Contras are killing it. What are your thoughts on interest rates going up? I don't think interest rates go up. Ooh, DRV's got an open candle. I don't think interest rates go up. I think that even if we get a rise in inflation, he won't cut, but I don't think I don't think he raises. I think that would be crazy too. He's at a point where he can't cut or raise. The Fed's at a point where he can't cut or raise. Right now, he's got to sit still and let the market come to him. All right? I think he's going to be forced to cut before he's going to be forced to raise. All right, so let me ask this question. Type of 1 in the room if you think we get a cut first. Type of 2 in the room if you think we get a raise first. Type of 1 if you think we get a cut first. Type of 2 if you think we get a raise first. I think we get a cut first. I don't think that he can actually raise, even if inflation. William says, wow, I got a couple of 2s coming in. Interesting. And I think that even with the rise in inflation, I don't think he can raise. I think, and that's more so for the debt. I think it's more so for the debt than anything else. I don't think he can raise. We're already at $1 trillion to redo the debt. If he raises, it goes up even more than that. Unfortunately, I think we get a cut first. I think if everybody yells, screams, and hollers enough, he's going to be forced to cut even if he doesn't want to. All right? Let's go to weekly customer picks. We're at that point in time. How many likes we get? I'm giving you 8 stocks today. You know the deal. You know the deal. I'm giving you 8 stocks today. All right, let's go see what stocks you got. Giving you 8 stocks. Glenn, if the VIX is unsustainable at this level, would you short the VIX a day or two? Maybe. Maybe. It would only be a day or two. Excuse me. CRDO. Reddit. EZPU. Sorry. EZPU is not in there. Sorry, Michael. Dull. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll give you 9, 8. One more, RH. That makes 9. That makes 9. Right? Yep, 9. Wow, only 1 is a buy. Ryan, if you're still here, there's antimony. Antimony's the only buy in here. Taiwan semi down. Which stocks are going up today? RH. I don't know what the deal is with them. Let's go see if there's news. Let's go see if there's news on them. RH. It's raining here in Charlotte. How much are they up? 14%. Oh, Kramer. Gary Freed's going to make it. He turned inventory into a positive. Well, if Kramer said it, oh my gosh, it's going to be great. There it is. He better do a cut or he'll be looking for a new job. Khan, you know the Fed doesn't have to listen to the president. The Fed can keep his job if the president even tells him to step down. I found that out. If the Fed tells him to step down, he can say no. He can say no. Nope, I'm not giving 11. Tabula. There was a massive sell-off in RH. All right, what else? 3 days. That was the only story that came out yesterday. I was just curious. Let's go peep these out. Look at the graph. I'm still looking. I gave you 9 stocks. You got 92 likes. I still gave you 9 stocks, so there you go. Let's go check out these stocks now. Do-da. Nice little rebound on RH. Looks like it's trying to fade the gap. It stopped there, though. Technical analysis is a beautiful thing, folks. Look at that. Stop right there at that level of 164.06. All right? It's a little higher. That's a good sign, but a little wick at the top. I'd wait. If you own it, leave it alone. If you don't, I'd wait to see if it's got more move upside to the upside. Earnings growth looks good. Earnings per share is starting to fall, but the growth is there. The growth is there. Let's go to the next one. Oklo. All right. Stopped right at a low. This is why all my graphs have trend lines and support and resistance. Look at that level of resistance. It stopped there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. In order for me to think about getting to Oklo, it's got to break through that level of 23.51. It's got to break through that. Now, nice update today. That is a bullish engulfing. Let's go see what happens tomorrow. But look at the wick. The wick stopped right there, just like it did there, just like it did there, just like it did there. Stop right at that level of resistance. That's a solid level of resistance. Trump is term limited. We all know that. His job has an expiration. That's true, Sherilyn, but he doesn't have to leave until that expiration. All right? He doesn't have to leave until that expiration, even if the president asked him to stand down. Nice move on Doll. Look at that. Broke through its downtrend. This is why we trade the chart. Trend. Look at that. Broke through the downtrend. Nice open candle with no wick at the top. Another, what is this? 3-time invert on gold. Look at that. Bounced off support, beautiful level of support. Broke through the resistance, also trend line. It's still under the 50-day moving average. That's okay. Looks like gold could start moving back up again because it had leveled out. Cardo, Credo, another stock that spiked up to its level of resistance, which was at the level of 38.23 and came back down. Open candle I like. I do like the rising earnings per share and the rising earnings growth. It is under the 50-day moving average from a more longer-term play, all right? But it needs to get through that level of 38.23, all right? Needs to get through that level. Another bullish engulfing. We'll see how that, but big wick at the top of the candle. A lot of selling pressure right there. Same thing with Reddit. Open day today. But if I drew a trend line just from right here, it's still below the trend line. Trade the chart. I love that it's got an open day. It's got some wick at the top showing some selling pressure. Earnings growth is rising. Earnings per share is still above 0, but falling a little bit. The growth is there, though. What I'm looking for with these trend lines that I draw on these graphs, I'm looking to see breakups through them before I take them into consideration. Palantir. I'm in Palantir, but you all know the story. I'm not going to tell it again. All right, big wick at the top of today's candle. A lot of stocks exhibiting that when the market went up, when they thought it was going to be a 90-day pause on tariffs, markets went up, and a lot of stocks did the same exact thing. Nice open candle on Palantir, stopped right at that level of resistance. Earnings per share is rising. Earnings growth is rising. I still like me, Palantir. I'm still in it. Uami, antimony. Above the 50-day, which is good long-term, all right, a buy recommendation, bounced off that 50-day. It needs to get through this level of resistance of 209. I'd like to see it get past there, all the way up to the 3-month high of 245. It has the opportunity to do that. Even with everything, and rare earth metals are on the table, too, as far as tariffs. Antimony might be a good play, all right? GLDM, nicely above the 50-day. It fell enough now to become a hold, but above the 50-day. Let's go put on another graph. Let's go put on my 3.8. 3.8. Yeah, the 3 and the 8 crossed as well. Do I want to star search? Yeah, it went from the fast lane to the middle lane, poaching down into the slow lane. Be careful with that GLDM. Look at from the high and what it's doing. Be careful. All right? That's all I got to say about that. Mama said the market's like a box of chocolate. You don't know how much the volatility is going to hurt you. All right. TSM, open day. The price is higher than the open. A lot of selling pressure on it, though, and in the slow lane. A lot of selling pressure on today's candle, and it is in the slow lane. Be careful with TSM. That's all the stocks. That's all the stocks. So my only 2 plays, again, that I'm looking at, I'm going to put up GLD, and I'm going to put up SQQQ. Let's go see how right I am on GLD, on gold. There's the gold shares. Let's go look at the graph on it. There it is. How many of you still holding gold? Be careful. It's getting ready to poach down into this slow lane. Don't give up all those profits. I'm thinking a lot of you already have. How many of you still holding gold? Type a 1 in the room if you're still holding gold. You know, from the standpoint of when to get in and out of a stock, Star Search does a great job. You know, if you're in gold long term and you say, no, I'm going to hold it for long term, right? Then let's go to the near perfect indicator. What does it tell me? Long term, trend is still in play. Short term, RT may fall below and give you a sign to get out. But if you're holding gold long term, all you guys that are typing in one from the NPI, you're fine. All right. You may have to give up some, but the trend is still in place. Interest rates dropping. May a triple bull treasury ET. Is there? I don't know if there's a triple leverage. Can anybody tell me if there's a triple leverage treasury ETF? I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to go look that up. I'd have to go research that. But long term on gold, I'm going to tell you, hold on. Just hold on. I don't like that it's going down, but you're going to give up a lot. If you're going to trade off of the MPI, you will give up a lot before the trend goes away. Big difference between paper and holding metal. I got you, Agua Man. Glenn, do you have a trailing stop and how much on your SQQQ? I got a trailing stop of 7%. 7%. Why? Because all it takes is for one big up day and my SQQQ gets killed. I have a 7% trail on it. All right. Not even my normal stop is a 10% trail, but I have a 7% because it's leveraged. I'm staying in with ASM. That ASM made a lot of people a lot of money too. ASM, woo! That's tougher than GLD. It's getting beat up worse than GLD. Reciprocals like of which we've never seen before except 1930. Again, the market's got more downside. And coming on the 9th, more tariffs going into play as I showed you in the story. More tariffs going into play as well. All right, that's it for today. I tried to keep my energy level up. I hope I did a good job. All right, I hope I did a good job. Let's go back to there. Hey, you guys have a great day. Just the stories of the tariffs is not going to change. It's not going to change. Trade the chart. Look at all of the graphs that we looked at today. If those are your stocks, trade the charts, not your heart, not what you think. Trade the chart. Look at the market timing graph. Trade the chart. If you get nothing out of what's going on in the market right now, is to trade your chart. By the way, I didn't mention this. We got a roadshow, a meet and greet on May 1st in Charlotte. We got a meet and greet, Ryan and I. We got a lot of stuff going on. If you haven't gone to the website yet, go. www.vectorvest.com/roadshow. Go check it out. All right? Go check it out. Has anybody checked it out? And if you're going to attend, if you're thinking about attending or you're going to attend, type a 1 in the room before we leave. If anybody out there is thinking about attending, type a 1 in the room. Joey put the link in there. www.vectorvest.com/roadshow. Remember, this is the first one that we're going to do, depending on. You're going to miss us for a Star Trek tour? Really? Sigh. Keep in mind, you got to support it. I'm only messing with you, Michael. You got to support it because if you support it, this opens the doors for us to go out and do more across the country. If it doesn't do well, that's going to be kibosh. We're not going to be able. We would love to come out and visit you all over. But you got to support this. You got to support it. You got to support it. Michael says, check it out. I'm not checking it out. I can't. I got to be here for this, Michael. I got to be here for this. I got to help this to grow. So we can go to California. So we can go to Canada. So we can go all over. You got to support this one. I'd love to come to New Jersey, but you folks in Jersey don't come out. Yes, I'm yelling. New York and New Jersey, as big as y'all are, y'all don't come out to see us. Y'all just don't. Chicago, we could probably do. Chicago, we could probably do. But New York and New Jersey, you guys don't come out. All right, with that, I got to go, all right? Tabula said something. If I go, can I get a selfie? Absolutely. It is going to be a meet and greet with Ryan and I. You want a selfie? Come up. We'll come up to Boston in like July. We'll go to Boston in July. I was just in St. Louis. I was at the airport at St. Louis for 5 hours before I went to New York. I didn't get out of the airport. I should have got out and got some food, but I didn't. All right. Listen, folks, have a great day. Keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your heads off the swivel. The news is the news. You can't change it. Trade the charts, not your heart. Adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha to all my peeps in Hawaii. You know I love me some Hawaii, baby. Woo-wee. Always remember, there's good people out there. If you can't find one, be one. Odabu, bom dia, salam, shalom, namaste, yasu. Until next time, folks. See ya.